Look down at your shoes. They might be the reason your smallest toes look the way they do, and the proof is hidden inside your own feet. This is the 40,000-year story of one of the hardest inventions to trace, the shoe. It's hard to trace because leather and plant fiber rot away fast. So for the oldest chapter, we don't have a shoe at all. We have a clue in human bone. Around 40,000 years ago, something changed in the human foot. The bones of the smaller toes grew thinner and weaker. Anthropologists argue there's one likely reason. People had started wearing shoes regularly, so those toes no longer had to grip and brace against bare ground. We have no shoe from that time, but the human skeleton quietly recorded the habit. The problem is obvious. It tells us shoes existed, but not what they looked like. For that, we need something that survived. The oldest footwear we can actually hold is about 10,000 years old. Sandals woven from sagebrush bark, found in Fort Rock Cave in Oregon. They were flat, plaited plant fiber soles tied onto the foot. They worked, but plant fiber wears out fast and gives little protection against cold or sharp rock. The next leap forward was a tougher material, animal hide. The oldest leather shoe ever found is about 5,500 years old, from the Armenia 1 cave in Armenia. It's a single piece of cowhide, cut to wrap the foot and laced shut, stuffed with grass. It's strikingly modern, essentially a soft leather moccasin. But one piece of hide molded to one foot had limits. It wore through, and it offered only a thin, flat sole. Around the same era, the shoes of the Iceman, Ötzi, show how sophisticated this could get. His footwear had bearskin soles, deerskin uppers, and an inner netting of bark string packed with grass. That insulation worked like a built-in sock, shoes engineered for the cold mountains. But they were custom, handmade, and slow to produce. As societies grew, footwear became less about survival and more about identity. In ancient Egypt, sandals were woven from papyrus and palm, and who could wear them, and what kind, signaled rank. Rome turned this into a system. Soldiers marched in hobnailed sandals called caligae, while the style, color, and height of your shoes announced your social class. For the first time, a shoe wasn't just protection. It was a message about who you were. And that message would soon include one of the strangest features in footwear history. The high heel began not as fashion, but as cavalry equipment. Persian horsemen used a raised heel to lock their feet into stirrups while shooting a bow. When this reached Europe around the 1600s and 1700s, aristocratic men adopted the heel as a mark of power. The higher the heel, the higher your standing. Only later did it shift from a male symbol of power to women's fashion. Here's something that sounds impossible today. For most of history, shoes had no left or right. They were made straight, identical, and you broke them into your own feet. Distinct left and right shoes only became standard in the 1800s as shoemaking grew more precise. But shoes were still slow, handmade, and expensive, until two inventions changed everything: rubber and the machine. In 1839, vulcanized rubber made soles that were flexible, durable, and waterproof. By the early 1900s, canvas and rubber shoes, the first sneakers, were mass-produced and affordable. Within decades, the athletic shoe became a global industry and a cultural icon. For the first time, the same shoe could be on millions of feet at once. So what about the future? Shoes are quietly turning into machines. Self-lacing shoes already exist. So do shoes with sensors that track how you move, and 3D-printed soles molded to a single foot, bringing us, oddly, back to the custom shoe of the Iceman, just with lasers instead of bone needles. And as plastic waste piles up, makers are racing toward biodegradable and recyclable materials. The next big shoe might fit you perfectly, track your health, and disappear when you're done with it. Now look at your feet again. The shoe you slip on without a thought is the end of a 40,000-year experiment, one that reshaped the very bones inside you. Your ancestors started wearing shoes so long ago that evolution has been adjusting your feet ever since. You're not just wearing history, you're built by it.